morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining us and welcome to our Brands Alliance Budget Season webinar series. I'm your host, Joe Vitorino, Executive Director of Strategy at Plan Companies. I oversee the Alliance and I'll be guiding you through our webinar series as we hear from our various subject matter experts today and throughout this week. The Brands Alliance is a consortium of top-tier property service providers, including Amenity Link, American Pool, CertaPro Painters, Heartline Fitness, Live Unlimited, Paul Davis Restoration, and Plan Companies. As best-in-class service organizations, we collaborate to enhance the client experience and improve the quality of life for the residents and tenants we proudly serve. By sharing expertise, best practices, and value-added services, we elevate the standards of property management. This is going to be our final week of presentations for our budget season webinar series, which will include presentations from subject matter experts covering two new topics, fitness and wellness and property technology. As you can see on the webinar calendar here, each presentation will be split into two segments. Mornings at 10 a.m. will be focused on multifamily, as well as afternoons at 1 p.m. focusing on the condo HOA world. All of the webinars will be recorded for your convenience, and they can be viewed online demand following each webinar. Today's session will be focused on fitness and wellness, presented by Jeff Shipman and Kelly Spivey of Heartline Fitness. Before we dive in, we do want to encourage everyone to feel free to ask any questions throughout the presentation using the Q&A button on Zoom. Questions will be gathered throughout the webinar, and we'll review them together at the end of the webinar. Now, without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome Jeff Shipman, President and CEO of Heartline Fitness, and Kelly Spivey, Account Manager for Heartline Fitness. Kelly is our resident PhD, and they have a ton of experience between the both of them, so you'll be in great hands. Make sure you tune in and take some notes. Jeff and Kelly, take it away.
Yeah, awesome, Joe. Thank you. Really proud to be a part of this organization and the Alliance Group and doing this right in the middle of budget season for everyone. I won't spare you too many other details. I'm going to flip it right over to Kelly to get into the PowerPoint, and her and I will probably go back and forth a little bit. And again, encourage everyone to ask questions that we can kind of answer at the end of this. So Kelly, take it away.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Thanks. So yeah, this is really hopefully it's more of a info session on just getting some ideas on what could possibly happen in your facility. So there's a lot of slides, there's a lot of information. We're going to kind of go fast, but it's really designed to get you thinking about your own facility and what you can do for improvements for 2024 kind of and beyond. So yeah, we will get started. So yeah, we are Heartline Fitness. So what we're kind of trying to do is really jump off of why this amenity space is so important. It's usually when people inquire, it's one of the first things that they're asking about in their facility at the property to see what's, what other kind of amenities are there. But fitness is certainly important as far as, when people are looking for where they want to live and what kind of community they want to be involved in. So we're going to kind of start with, what's some of the most requested products and services. We're going to go into also some information on technology. We'll go into what's going on with preventive maintenance, and then we'll leave some time at the end for some questions and answers. Here's just a couple of properties that we've recently done. This just kind of highlights some of the technology going on in the cardio screens, some of the functional fitness spaces that we like to provide for residents. A lot of open spaces for people to kind of do their own kind of programming. And then the virtual bikes that are just, everywhere, and people are certainly asking for those in almost every property. So when we talk about entertainment and screen technology, most properties are going away from that personal viewing screen or that TV. So everybody's kind of moving into that streaming market. So our TVs on our walls at home are streaming, our tablets, our phones, we're all used to that streaming content. So the same thing's going on with technology on the cardio. There's a couple different features that's even above and beyond just regular TV, whether it's Fox News, CNN, HGTV, or the Food Network. You've got streaming, so you can still go to those specific channels, but you can also have a trainer in your face, guiding you through a workout. You can have, you can go anywhere in the world and look at different scenery, and some of the equipment actually elevates and declines based on the terrain that you're going through. And then you can also, you can just watch your treadmill workout with start, stop, fast, slow, up and down. Some of them even mirror what's on your phone. So that's kind of the cool thing with technology, is it's advancing every year. And, we try to stay up with it, so you don't have to. And then as far as the virtual fitness, the bike that begins with a P kind of really made virtual fitness on a bike kind of a household name. And in the commercial space, there's a lot of different players right now. So you can get virtual experience on a bike, whether you have an instructor led, you've got scenery. Some of them are even doing streaming right now. There's a rower with the same kind of thing. There's the mirror, so you're doing exercise in front of a trainer. And then there's also gamification. So the fun thing about the games is, like, you can chase dragons and coins and, accumulate points. And heck, before you know it, 20 minutes is gone and you're just sweating bullets. So there's some of the name brands that we affiliate with: Echelon, Espresso, Averon, Star Trek. And if you're not familiar with any of these products, here's just a quick glance. Most of them require a subscription. So in addition to the product you purchase, there's also an annual subscription. And then some of the other manufacturers are coming out with products that don't require subscription. So it just depends on what your budget looks like, and what kind of expenses you want to look at in the future. We also have the on-demand fitness. So for the group exercise is huge in communities. So whether you have a live instructor who's leading courses, or you have instructors that are on a screen. So with a company like Wellbeats, there's over 800 classes. So you could do one class a day, and in almost 3 years it would take you to get through all the classes. And the cool thing about these virtual opportunities now is that you can do it either on demand in a group exercise room, or the residents have access to an app, so they can have fitness anywhere, anytime, in their office, on vacation, in their apartment, especially if they're a little shy in front of other users, or they're a stay-at-home mom and the kids are taking a nap. It's nice to have that option to kind of do your fitness without trying to find a babysitter. Now we'll get into some of the cardio. So when we walk into the properties, a lot of times the first question we ask is, what are the residents asking for? Is there anything that's, missing in your current fitness center? And the stair climber is one of it's one of the most popular. So Stairmaster brand, they're celebrating 40 years in the industry, quite an accomplishment. When somebody said, hey, let's try to walk upstairs and go nowhere, people probably thought they were crazy, but here we are 40 years later. They came out with a baby version of the Stairmaster now. So this is called, this one on the left is the 8G. This is the 4G. So for places with lower ceilings, narrower doors, smaller budgets, this is a great alternative for the Mac Daddy Stairmaster. They also have a 10G too. So if you really want to have something kick your butt, that's another option. So upper body training is important, just because things that we do in our day-to-day activities require upper body strength, carrying groceries, toting a toddler around. And CrossFit kind of made these things cool again. So the air bike was popular in rehab and cardiac rehab. The rower's always been kind of one of those things in the corner, but now they're really they're asked for, because they're a great way to warm up before a workout. They're a great way to kind of get that heart rate up and get some interval training going. So again, residents are asking for things like this. You don't need a power supply. These are portable. They can be moved around anywhere within your community. So that's another reason these are asked for. And then the functional training. So a big pet peeve, I think, of a lot of people is all these accessories on the floor. So this TRX suspension bay, and this is just one of the options we have in this particular market brand, is there's places for your kettlebells, your medicine balls, there's storage, and then if your TRX straps, your suspension training, your battle ropes, all have a home. And the amount of exercises you can do on this is in the hundreds. The Smith machine, it's kind of a safer alternative to just a regular Olympic barbell that's, hanging out on the floor. It's safer in that the user is kind of in a controlled motion, but it also doesn't damage the floor, and maybe it limits injury potential for the users. And then stretching and recovery. So that's another big part of our industry now that we're seeing is cardio is great, strength is great, but what are you doing after the workout to get you ready for the next workout? So creating zones where they can stretch, elevated mat tables where you don't have to get down on the floor. And it's a nice extra feature to kind of carve out a space where people can stretch, relax, come down off of their workout. So in
Hey,
the
Kelly,
layout design,
yeah, I just wanted to summarize because we showed a lot of different slides here. I think what we want to express to people that in budget season, you're looking to maybe do some upgrades with money left over this year, or an upgrade or a new project that's coming up next year. In the past, we really, and I'm saying way past, we used to program basically for cardio strength, and that would be selectorized machines, some free weights, small amount of free weights, and then your cardio component. We really have, and it's very easy for us to assess this, 5 to 6 different pathways to add to that space if you had it or redesign it. So cardio is always there. Your strength is there. Some free weight is there, but we've also got functional trainer. We have recovery. We have stretching. It's very easy for us to come in, do an assessment, look at the space that you have. And if it's a little bit older and you've only got a couple kind of zones of the fitness experience, wellness experience here, we can enhance that, especially if we've got multi-purpose rooms where we can throw in virtual fitness. We're throwing in turf to some of these spaces. You don't have to just settle for that cardio strength, couple dumbbells. There's a whole new world out there that we can help explore with you.
Exactly. And then we'll go sorry, the Heartline Fitness reps. I mean, we go from Maine to Miami and out into the Midwest. So just reach out to one of your local reps and they'll come in and actually do a free assessment of your space and walk the space with you. Look at some of these talking points we were discussing. And then it doesn't really cost anything. Sometimes it just rearrange the furniture and give it a better flow. We'll also look at things like ADA compliance, safety and risk management things. So we'll just kind of touch on a few of those. So when you look at equipment and layout, they're kind of sectioned off into different areas. Some of them are designed by the flooring. Some are there's pathways, but you can see when you walk in, there's clear paths to get around the equipment. This is one of the first things I always look for. Is there a safety zone behind the treadmills? So I walk in and I see treadmills that are backed up against the wall, or worse, a window or a mirror or a glass wall. So I've seen that quite frequently. So if someone falls off the treadmill, either by accident or because they're, trying to do something on TikTok that they shouldn't be, then you've got, that's a big safety hazard. So creating that 4-foot barrier behind any treadmill so they're not going to run into a wall, a window, a piece of machinery. It's kind of a risk management thing that we always look for and point out. So when we do our layouts, so after walking a space, if we're looking to rearrange the furniture, sometimes it's a matter of getting rid of equipment. Sometimes it's a matter of, just rearranging to create more open areas. So as you can see in this 2D rendering, there's your 4-foot safety zone. There's your ADA spacing. So for ADA compliance, we're looking for, is there can one person access any piece of equipment? So you don't have to have access for every treadmill. It's one treadmill, one bike, one elliptical, one rower, so that they actually can use every piece of equipment. And then maybe you bring in pieces of equipment there that are specifically ADA accessible, like this dual adjustable pulley where somebody in a wheelchair can pull up to it and use that without any interference. Here at the top, you're looking at the power and data information. So like treadmills need dedicated circuits, whereas the other cardio may need some power, but maybe it doesn't need any power. So what are your existing layouts or outlet configurations look like, and can we work around that, or is that something that we have to kind of stay with in order to make the room work without spending any extra money on electrician? And then again, you see that open area for functional training, swinging kettlebells, walking lunges, things like that. Some people do like to do the 30 minutes on the treadmill and a circuit of weights, but the majority are moving into personalized workouts that kind of change every day, every week, every month. As far as your existing things, as you walk around your property, are there any underutilized rooms, any underutilized outdoor spaces? We can create movement in a lot of different areas, just given the right kind of tools and the right kind of spaces and planning. So, here's a list of a lot of things that may not be maybe underutilized, whether it's racquetball courts. We've gone into storage closets and converted them. Think we've done things with tennis courts so we can make it multi-purpose. So I think pickleball is winning out on those tennis court spaces. And then just looking at, things that are equipment that's portable that can be moved in and out depending on your needs. So there's still properties that have tanning beds in them. So why not change that into, an infrared light therapy bed, or putting massage chairs in there, or reconfiguring some of the spaces that maybe once were useful, but now are not. And these don't take up much space at all. This is an example on the right of this was a storage closet, and it was converted into a mind body room. So they do sound therapy, they do yoga therapy, they do meditation. The moss walls are kind of adding that feature of the outdoors, bringing it in, the calming colors. There's lights that dim or change color. The little ceiling features, that was added. The flooring we changed. So, this becomes a usable space where before it was just kind of filled with, junk.
Kelly, I think too, in the multifamily sector here too, that we're presenting to, there are a lot more people that are working from home, obviously, that will stay in that category of working from home. So developers and property managers are looking for ways for these types of residents to have outlets, right? Where we thought in the past a fitness center and a pool and maybe a cool business section with a printer and a couple computers was good enough. Well, no, we're taking closets and turning them into more of a restorative room where people can get a break from Zoom or work in their apartment. So yeah, getting creative is definitely very different than what it used to be prior to the pandemic. And I think, we have launched numerous new development projects with things that we've never done before. Moss walls, lockers, floorings, really aesthetically pleasing places that allow that person to experience more in that community that they're a part of.
Right. And that's a great point. As people are working from home, they miss that socialness of their work, but we can cultivate that in their community. And if you look at the statistics that are running around out there on mental health and well-being, there's a lot of people who are struggling with anxiety and depression. And, a lot of those things can be controlled or maintained through these mind-body type experiences. Great point. So this was just an outdoor space that was concrete outside of a fitness room. So turf. Now you can do moonlight yoga. You can do, you know, all kinds of functional training. And this was really not a significant investment. If you want to do a little more of an investment, look at, you know, that your outdoor spaces. So adults like to play too. So sometimes there's playgrounds for the kids, but this would be your adult side of that playground where you can do functional training. Maybe actually bring a personal trainer out on a Saturday and do a boot camp for the community. That's always a big hit.
Now this picture, I'm not sure if it was tennis or basketball, but you know, you could tell by the fence this was probably a space that got converted, and we've done this with more functional CrossFit, but we've also done it indoors with basketball courts that were underutilized, and provided several more areas of fitness or wellness to a fairly large full blown full court basketball court. So can be done if that space is just a ghost town. We can make it not so much.
Right, right, right. And then it's easy to find, or if you need help, actually, if you need help finding trainers or anybody to kind of come in and do live classes, we can also assist with that, whether it's group trainers, personal trainers, group fitness. This is a product that we're affiliated with, Fitbench. There's a couple different manufacturers we work with who bring this kind of product, but this is on wheels. So it's a bench on wheels that stores all these fun accessories: dumbbells, kettlebells, medicine balls, bands. You can hook a battle rope to it. You can use it as a bench and do step ups, or as like a plyo box. This guy in here is doing incline chest press. So you can line a couple of these up along a wall. So when they're not in use, they're benches. When the trainers are there, or you just want to create an engaging space, just roll it out and let people go crazy. They also make completely outdoor friendly benches. They come complete with a cover that you can put over them. And so, and this particular product's also made in the USA. So another fine point about a lot of the products that we represent. Actually, I wish I would have invented that. That's like awesome. And then Jeff mentioned turf. So there are some flooring options. One of the things that when we walk into a space, I always take a big sniff and see does the room smell fresh. And a lot of times, if it doesn't, it's because of the flooring is probably carpet. And you can clean it a lot, but people are still sweating, they're dripping, they're spilling, carpet is just kind of a magnet for things that you don't get rid of. So we've got a couple different options for properties that want to replace the carpet. This is one of the most popular one. It's called Bounce. It's by Ecor Athletic, and Ecor is an athletic flooring manufacturer. It's going to be different than something that you would get from a traditional flooring supplier or at your big box stores. It's made for athletics. It's thicker. It reduces sound, vibration. It's easier on the joints. And they have all that research to support that. So it's easier on backs and hips and knees, especially if you're bouncing or you're doing yoga poses. This makes a big difference than just getting down on the standard floor. This is a rolled vinyl product. It glues to the floor. It comes in wood tones of grays and dark browns and light browns, also kind of slate colors. So it can look really great in a space. And this is at Crunch Fitness. That's one of the largest fitness franchises growing in the United States.
Yeah, this product has really started to transform a lot of, aesthetically. Your next slide obviously is the traditional rolled rubber flooring with fleckle or just flat black, but the Bounce and the turf, we've really been able to transform the space just doing flooring. Maybe we don't do any equipment at all. We did probably a dozen or more fire and police stations recently, and we just doing this rubber flooring that you see here with Fleck is a tremendous lift. And when you go to something like a bounce or a turf incorporated in that space, it could really turn a dirty, dingy environment into fresh and clean.
Right, right. And so these come in different colors. So if your walls are already painted blue, we can do a blue spec or orange or red or greens, that kind of stuff. Plus, all these products are the same thickness, so they marry well together. So you won't see any imperfections in the seams. So you can go the turf right up to the bounce, right up to the rolled rubber, and it'll kind of be a seamless transition. If you're having trouble with people complaining about dropping dumbbells, or maybe there's residents below or next door to the fitness center, we actually have a lot thicker floor options that can help with that vibration and that sound. So that's something you might want to reach out to your rep to discuss. And then, like Jeff said, there's a lot of turf options. So this can go inside, this can go outside. It's a great way to kind of define a functional training area, makes it real fun. Every time you walk on green or turf, I think that adrenaline starts pumping anyway, just because it's like game time. But yeah, a great way to add visual interest too. Be careful too if you want to create a turf area. Not all turf is created equal. Some kind of feel like Brillo pads, and so when you get down on your knees or you're on your hands, it just kind of leaves you with like the rug burns, and it doesn't leave you feeling energized.
This is not what you buy at Home Depot by any means.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, you can see the different thicknesses on this floor. All right, preventive maintenance. Just like your car, even if it's a lease, you still have to get the oil change, the tires rotated, the 50,000 mile tune-ups and all that kind of stuff. So same thing's important with when you're maintaining your cardio and your strength. It's an investment. That equipment is an investment. You want it to last 5, 7, 10 years sometimes. So taking care of it in a timely manner is very important. So when you talk about, the preventive maintenance, when should it start? We try to schedule the first visit within 3 months of install. And then, a lot of multifamily properties are fine with quarterly. If it's a high use facility, it might be monthly. And that's something that the tech can kind of discuss with the property manager over time. So if there's, excess wear and tear, maybe it's something that needs to be scheduled on a monthly or bi-monthly basis. So these are real live pictures that we've taken in the field. So this is not really these little dust bunnies and all the other things that are accumulate under this treadmill. This kind of a matter of housekeeping. So one of the things you can do as a property manager is to make sure your cleaning crew knows how to clean the fitness center properly, and elevating the treadmill allows that person to get down under there with a vacuum and then a mop. Potentially this is a fire hazard. So you don't want any of this stuff getting pulled up into the motor. And it just, this is a really high-end community. And so when I saw this, it kind of took me by surprise. And then this treadmill belt just kind of ripped on the seam. There wasn't even an out of order sign on it. It just, I hope nobody turned on that treadmill. But this is something that you can talk with the tech. What's the cost to replace a belt? And, is it worth to invest in a new treadmill if the expenses start to accumulate and it becomes costly to repair? So that could have been prevented. Also, the safety and risk management, another facility we walked into, the AED cabinet, the AED was gone. It was missing. And the property manager didn't realize that. And so that was a question. Turned out it was just in the office. It needed a new battery because it was beeping. So it wasn't like someone walked off with it. But that's there's a reason those AEDs are there in plain sight and for public use. because they save lives. And so having a conversation with how can we get the battery replaced, that was easy.
Kaylee, I just wanted to touch on safety, right? Whether it's, an AED saving somebody's life or the safety on this equipment. People are passionate about fitness, and I've been in this 25 years. I've seen a lot of crazy things happen on treadmills, ellipticals, bikes, and people use them like not with the purpose or intent that machine was created for. So, providing this preventative maintenance, we are one of the largest service providers in the United States right now. We have over 30 service technicians up and down the East Coast and over 3,000 preventative maintenance contracts. It is one of the key things in our business that we pride ourselves with in maintaining this equipment, providing the warranty, the service after the install. We also provide a level of just risk management, I would say, with the insurance that we carry. Having us in there is, almost like having an insurance policy that you're paying for and getting the equipment serviced at the same time too. So if you are not doing this, it's one of the things we highly recommend you investigate and do because things happen. And crazy thing happens to, things happen to the equipment that are unexpected from, outside type of influences. We didn't provide a slide here of some of the things we found inside treadmills, but from basketballs, tennis balls to animals, and you name it, you've got to pop the hood on these things, clean them out, make them last long, and keep your residents safe.
Yeah. We had an emergency phone call, needed a tech immediately. Some lady was on the Stairmaster and her phone dropped down somewhere inside the shroud, and she was freaking out. So, but all that was, we had just talked them through how to get to the phone, and it just took a phone call. All right, so just wrapping it up, Heartline's been in business for 40 years, so just like Stairmaster and actually Spirit Fitness, we've been in it for the long haul. Like I said, we're from Maine to Miami. Our reps have a lot of everybody's been in the industry for decades, and so there's hundreds of years of experience among all of our team members. But we are the experts. We hope you rely on us. We'll do a free assessment. We'll walk the spaces. We'll discuss the layout and the design. If you're in budget season or you're looking to get more equipment, we can talk about everything from finances and leasing to payments. We deliver and install, provide the ongoing maintenance. The other thing I should have mentioned with the flooring too is that most flooring providers aren't going to move your equipment for you. So that's one of the things you have to consider. Well, our team is going to move the fitness equipment safely, let the flooring installers install, and then move the equipment back. So, that in and of itself is a big chore. We also have an app where you can get into your amenities, and it helps you manage those amenities. So the amenity link actually gets into you can reserve rooms, you can reserve trainers, you can use it as a help with the mail room and package deliveries. You can send out push notifications. So it might be everything from don't forget about the moonlight yoga this Saturday night to it's there's a hurricane on the coast. Get prepared, put all your patio furniture in your house, that kind of stuff. RSVPs for events. Even we can help you plan events, whether it's Taco Tuesdays or any kind of like training and fitness type activities. So we try to be there to support you as a resource. You've got a lot of stuff on your plate. From landscaping to HVAC to plumbing to electricity to all the day-to-day things that go on with residents and the crazy things that sometimes arise. So use us as your resource. There's a rep close to where you live and work, and like I said, we'd like to be a resource. We're part of a large network of other services that support multifamily. American Pool, Live, Plant Companies, Amenity Link. And we are, we're in all these properties. So if you don't currently use Heartline as your provider, I'm sure one of your sister companies probably does. And that was not, so sales at heartlinefitness.com will get you to us. Our website, heartlinefitness.com, also has our contact information, cell phone, or our 800 number. And there's a community resources page that has all kinds of information on space planning, hot weather preparation. It's great resources for anybody in the multifamily and the fitness community.
Awesome, Kelly. Well, look, we appreciate your time and effort in putting in this presentation. I think, one of the things we wanted to achieve here is, leverage the experts, right? To understand, I'll say it, we know what you don't know, right? And we can analyze and look at these spaces based off our experience and help you elevate the experience for your residents, work within a budget, procure the equipment, provide the service, soup the nuts, 360 degrees. This is what we do. We've been doing it for 40 years. And, year to year, it does change. Products, change and get upgraded every 8 months. So we don't really have an expectation of every developer and every multifamily facility to understand this. This is what we're here for. And we know it can be a little bit of a struggle starting to research and build this out for maybe some expenses this year or what you're going into next year. So we appreciate your time and thank you.
Right. And please don't research on Amazon. That's that's not really a commercial, even though it says commercial quality or commercial grade doesn't necessarily mean it's for commercial use. So it can be misleading.
All righty. Thank you so much, Kelly and Jeff. Great presentation. Lots of really valuable and insightful information there. So I hope all the attendees got a lot of great takeaways. As a reminder, we do have the Q&A. So we're going to have a couple questions here, and then we'll wrap up before our afternoon session. So question one, Kelly or Jeff, whoever wants to take it. When planning a fitness project, either existing or an expansion, is there a square footage guideline that managers should follow?
Actually on our insights page, there is an article on that, and it gets like, especially if you like to do a lot of math, but the easy numbers, if you take how many residents live there, and figure that 20% of the residents are going to use the fitness center in any given month, and kind of give them a like 10 square foot per resident. So if you have 1,000 residents, 200 people are going to use it for sure. And then times that by 10, that gives you about a 2,000 square foot facility. And that includes your group exercise, your functional training areas, maybe your outdoor, necessary outdoor fitness. It could be higher than that. Yep.
Sorry, demographics also really important in those calculations, right? We deal from everything from corporate wellness, universities, 55 or better, and then usage, obviously changes with some of those demographics too.
Yeah, so 55 and better, you might give them 25% are going to be users up to 35%. So yeah, the spaces should be really big.
Awesome. Good to know. Thank you for that answer. Last question we have here. What kind of specific tasks do techs do during a preventive maintenance service that a regular person on site wouldn't be able to do?
Oh, I'll answer that one, Kelly.
Go for it.
Out of the gates, right? The obvious is clean, calibrate, inspect for certain wear items. Obviously, treadmills, bikes, ellipticals, it varies, right? Treadmills, motors, belts are pretty easy on treadmills, but looking for all the safety type mechanisms that are on these pieces of equipment are working properly, making sure we don't have items that are going to typically wear out in between a PM. We will notify people on that, but like it's the preventative maintenance side, I hate to say, is it's not incredibly hard to do, because we are cleaning, calibrating, and not terrible. We're not sticking mops on running belts to clean them. We have specific processes, but I think what comes in between the cleaning, the calibrating, and the inspections is really knowing how these machines operate. And some of these machines are very sophisticated, touch screens, little computers inside of them. You don't want to fuss with some of these things that could really put your machine out of order, right, and cost you thousands of dollars. So it's really our expertise knowing more about the machine than just the preventative maintenance to learn how to handle working with them.
Right. And they can ultimately save a lot of money. It's like if you forget to do something with your brakes and now they're squealing and now they're like rubbing, that is a lot more expensive to replace the whole brake and the caliper and the rotor now than versus just replacing the brake pads.
Yeah, you know what? Here's one last tip too with PMs, and it's challenging sometimes for us, right? Because one repair can kind of lead to another, and typically, if maintenance hasn't been provided properly, let's say with a treadmill's shutting off for some reason. Well, there's a number of things that probably started that issue, right? First one could be we didn't replace the belt and deck in a timely fashion, right? And now we come back, we replace the belt and deck in hopes that solves the issue. Well, if we waited too long to fix that, we may have put a unnecessary strain on a lower board and a motor, and now we replace the belt and deck, motor goes, lower board goes. So it's really, you don't want to see this kind of snowball effect with service. It's very frustrating for clients, and preventative maintenance allows us to get in there and replace these things before you have a kind of chain reaction with some of the units. Not all the units, have that type of scenario. Treadmills are one of them. And really it's how many moving parts, the sophistication of the machine that we can get in those types of scenarios. And it's not happy for us to deal with that, or the clients, where one thing leads to another and it really was due to improper maintenance or timely maintenance.
Well
Right.
said. Well, thank you guys again for that great answer, and of course for the presentation. Thank you all to all of our attendees for joining us this morning. As you see on the screen here, we'll be back this afternoon at 1 p.m. With fitness and wellness presentation on HOA and condo facilities, and then we'll be back as well on August 24th, Thursday. We'll be covering property technology. So we look forward to seeing you guys this afternoon and on Thursday as well. So thank you guys again. Have a great rest of your day. The recording of today's presentation will be available online at the Heartline website, so keep an eye out for that, as well as any other giveaways and goodies that they have for you for joining today. So thanks again, and we'll see you later this afternoon.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
See ya.
Take care.